So the problem with doing a weekly sports show is that no matter how much information or what stories you can get to the night you do it, there's always stuff happening the day after that you have to touch on the week after, which is what we're doing now.
Sports is 365.
This is true. Sports doesn't sleep. Well, our first show last Tuesday went out pretty well without a hitch. Well, last Wednesday, the day after, it was announced that the San Diego Chargers would be moving to Los Angeles for the 2017 season. Of course, it couldn't happen on Tuesday, but it happened on Wednesday.
I love it.
So, as a native of Los Angeles who has lived in San Diego, I never had an LA football team growing up, so I developed a love for the Chargers. I went through being a Chargers fan when they were 4-12 every year, when Drew Brees was their starting quarterback.
How old are you?
23.
When did the Rams move?
94. I was a year and a half old. Younger than that, maybe 15 months, 16 months. So probably you were in a high school. Or
no, I was a junior in high school. Thank you.
Jesus. So yes, I've never had a team, so I picked up the Chargers. I've been a Chargers fan so long that I remember when we had Drew Brees on our team and he was bad, and we used to make fun of our friends playing football, saying that's a Drew Brees throw, or you're looking like Drew Brees.
You didn't make fun of the big cockroach that was on his cheek before he got it removed?
No.
Oh.
So last Wednesday, it was announced that the Chargers are moving to Los Angeles after spending 56 years in San Diego.
With a losing record, by the way.
With a So they'll be moving to the StubHub Center in Los Angeles. It's a 27,000 with a 30,000 seat max stadium. It's where the LA Galaxy play right now.
I find the irony of the fact that they're actually moving to the StubHub Arena and they won't be able to sell tickets for it.
You're not wrong, because
they won't be able to sell a 30,000 seat stadium.
They're not. And with the Rams moving back last year, it's great for NFL football because the Rams were in LA for 50 years. Then you had the Raiders who had been there and then moved and then came back. And it's in LA, Rams and Raiders town. No one there likes the Chargers. They have no fan base. And I'm saying this as someone that's from Los Angeles. They don't like them there. San Diego is only about 120 miles outside LA. It's kind of like going from here to Orlando. So they're relatively close. But San Diego and LA, they don't like each other.
Well, they're two completely different
cities.
Yeah, two completely different backgrounds and you know, whatever. Cultures, that's the word I was looking for, cultures.
Yes. So, yeah, they finalized the move. All of San Diego, as you can imagine, were pissed. They had a news story of a guy that they were interviewing, started egging the headquarters of San Diego's, the Chargers office. They had another...
It's called vandalism.
Yeah. There was another thing of all these fans gathering in front of the headquarters, throwing piles of jerseys, shirts, jackets, and going to light on fire. This guy brought a framed newspaper from when they went to the Super Bowl in 1994, and it said Super Bolts on it. You know, he brought it, he put it on the pile instantly. Like 3 guys just started kicking it, and then they lit it all on fire.
Well, you know, I don't approve of the move, although I'm not really a voting member of the NFL committee, so I really don't have much of a say. But I do like the way they did it. I mean, when Baltimore moved to Indianapolis, and when Art, the thief Modell, stole the Browns from Cleveland and moved back to Baltimore, they both did it in a very shady and kind of underhanded way.
The truck's up in the middle of the night and just left.
They just dipped. They scooped on
Sorry,
it.
We don't have your team anymore. They got funneled out.
Hey, I'm going to go buy some where'd my team go? It's like your wife leaving in the middle of the night. Actually, that's not necessarily a bad thing sometimes, depending on who your wife is.
But yeah, no, the Chargers will be really interesting to see. Obviously, the whole town of San Diego is not happy. I actually saw a thing of local moving companies banding together. They got up to 56 the last time I checked to protest the Chargers moving by saying that they weren't going to help them move. Not that they'd probably get offered the game, but just to make...
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
To make popularity, to get them
I just hate their new logo. Like, I'm going to miss the powder blues.
Oh, God. I'm so scared. And
it looks like an Arena Football League
Did you
logo.
See what they put? The Tampa Bay Lightning tweeted? Because it looks like a cross between the Lightning's Bolt and the Los Angeles Dodgers LA. So the Lightning social media on Twitter put like an asterisk, like cough, like looks nervously, and it's like for the record, and they tag the Dodgers, so it's like the Dodgers and us are just friends. But no,
that's actually really funny.
It looks awful, and it looked like literally an unpaid intern who had no graphic design experience. They said, hey, we need this in 10 minutes, go and make it. And that's what they did, and it looks awful.
It does. And what's really unfortunate is San Diego wasn't a bad team. They were 3-13, granted, but they were decimated by injuries.
They were 5-11 this year.
Or 5-11. Why do we keep saying 3-13?
No, they were 4-12 last year.
Oh, okay. No, I'm averaging.
We had one win back.
Not even averaging
4.5
great because
wins a year.
Yeah. So anyway, they're 5-11, but they're not a true 5-11 team. I mean, they still have Rivers. Melvin Gordon played much better than he did last year.
Much better.
You know, they have all of these pieces. They're going to keep Ken Wisenhunt, who's an offensive genius in-house. You know, Anthony Lynn's going to do a hell of a lot better. I mean, they're moving, you know, on the way up, and they're going to get a top 10 draft pick.
They've got 7th overall coming up.
Who are they projected to pick?
It depends who you say. There's people that have said Malik,
shocking. Yes, it depends who we say.
It depends on what website you're looking at. They've got them possibly taking Malik Hooker, safety out of Ohio State, Jamal Adams, safety out of LSU. I've seen some people go to say Mike Williams, wide receiver out of Clemson, which I could realistically see, considering Keenan Allen, who's been an all-pro wide receiver, has basically missed most of the last 2 years with injuries. Phillip Rivers doesn't have a target outside Hunter Henry, who was named all rookie first team.
Yeah, no, he's a beast.
Antonio Gates, who's about to be 37. So he's got not a lot of targets to work with.
Kelvin Benjamin's on their team, right?
Kelvin Benjamin is.
Yeah.
No, Travis Benjamin.
Travis Benjamin.
Kelvin Benjamin is on the Panthers.
Yes. Okay. It's all about the Benjamins.
All about
apparently.
the Benjamins. Yeah, that's how Phillip Rivers is feeling. He's still got 2 years left on his $82 million 4-year deal he signed before.
And he was
season.
a member of one of the best quarterback drafts in NFL history outside of probably '83.
Yeah,
which we'll talk about. We'll talk a little bit more about that next segment. But I guess the Raiders are probably going to sign a lease with Vegas.
I can see that happening now. I think that they were waiting to see what the Chargers did because I don't think they thought that the NFL would allow the Chargers to move to LA. And I've had people, there's an article that was online and it basically said that the reason why the Chargers moved to LA is even if they don't sell tickets or they play in a 30,000 seat stadium, they're going to make more money than in San Diego, hands down. It's all about money. It's about them wanting to go to a bigger market to make more money.
Well, didn't they have a stadium deal on the books and it just couldn't get approved? I mean, wasn't that the main reason why they?
The issue came to the owner didn't want to spend the money to front it. The city doesn't like Dean Spanos, the Spanos family, Dean Spanos, the owner. They didn't want to give him taxpayers' money, and they tried to get them to give him money, and basically the city said the owner needs to put more money up. We're not going to, fund 80% of this, and it fell through. Now, what pisses everybody off is the fact that he only offered about $350 million to have that new stadium. Well, they're saying that his exit cost to move to Los Angeles will be between $700 and $900 million that he will have to pay the NFL to move.
Yeah, but you look at future revenue. So this brings us to a very interesting situation in Connor's life. So he's only known one team, and he blasted on Facebook that he was completely disowning San Diego Los Angeles Chargers, which apparently is the bastard child of the Lightning and the Dodgers. So what I've done is on a piece of paper, I have written down numbers 1 through 31, and I've omitted the LA Chargers, which I'm never going to be able to get right ever again. So it's your job, sir, to pick a number randomly from 1 to 31, and you will now be a fan of that team for all of 2017 based on the number you pick and the team that correlates it.
Is it written on there?
It's written on here. It's written on here.
I want to make sure that it's just not something where I'll pick a number and you'll, oh yeah. Well,
no. I wrote it down. I wrote it down before our pregame meal at Beef O'Brady's.
Let's go with, I'm 23. Let's go with 23.
Oops. 23
the anticipation is killing me.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow! Yeah. Not even Joe. And so our producer, I'm sitting there thinking.
Let's change your hat.
Yeah, all right. I'll put on the Steelers. I'll change out the black for some black and yellow. So what's funny is I'm looking at this thing. And my favorite number is 22, right? That's my favorite number, Clayton Kershaw's favorite number. I was about to pick 22. 22 was the Dallas Cowboys. Our producer John is the biggest Cowboys fan in the world. So
yeah, he gave me some nasty grams in my ear when I said that the star was a rating system, not an NFL symbol.
I was so scared I would have got the Browns or the.
The Browns need fans though.
The Browns or the Jaguars. I would have never picked 13. Unlucky number 13, Jags 17. I was thinking maybe 17 to be a fan in 2017, but I guess.
So Steeler Nation, we have one more fan in our stable. Welcome, Connor Anthony, to the Steeler Nation, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll have to get a terrible towel and a Le'Veon Bell jersey and start getting on the brushing up on my knowledge of the Steelers. Find some old DVDs.
I was also going to bring in a mason jar with one M&M in it because if you guys didn't tune in last week, apparently Connor's biggest childhood achievement was guessing the number of M&Ms in a mason jar once in like 3rd grade.
Do you know how hard that is to do? It's very
I've never
difficult.
tried it.
Exactly. It's very difficult to do. But anyways, looking at this, we've got 31, 32. I'm missing the Chargers 32, but now that I'm a Steelers fan, I guess I can relax a little bit more. But
Yep.
2017 mock draft, NFL draft. Not sure I have to get too worried about it now that I'm a Steelers fan, and they'll be picking at the lowest 29?
28.
29?
29, 30, 31, 32. You're right.
So the worst case, 29, better than the Chargers picking 7th. But CBS Sports, there's all different types of mock drafts coming out with, depending, obviously, there's going to be trades. There's going to be, however they decide to do it, it always changes from here to there. Point that we were talking about last week, Deshaun Watson versus Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah, so that really kind of bothered me. I look at every single mock draft. Deshaun Watson is ranked anywhere from 3rd to 4th, even 5th in some rankings. And Kaiser, the battle of Deshaun's, I guess, as we'll call that from moving forward until draft day. I don't understand why everyone is so high on him, and I want to do a little comparison. So, in the Deshaun's senior last season, Kaiser had a 58.7% completion rating. He threw for less than 3,000 yards. It was 29.25, and he had a 26-9 TD to interception ratio. Okay? So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Watson, his completion percentage was 67%. He threw for just under 4,600 yards, and he had a 41-17 TD to interception ratio against far superior competition. I mean, just go back and do me a favor and go to the interweb, as you said last week, which is also the internet, and just Google who Notre Dame played last year, and they were awful. And I've seen, if you're going to be an NFL elite quarterback, you kind of really need to be able to will your team to win. Now, Manning versus Leaf, which was a big controversy.
Oh, God, you got to...
Not to bring up back your Chargers, but Leaf in his last season was a 55.4% completion ratio, 3,700 yards, 34-11 TD to interception. Manning, over 60% completion ratio, a little over 3,800 yards, and 36 touchdowns to 11 interceptions plus better competition. So I don't understand how you can take a quarterback with little experience and with a horrible completion percentage in college and make them a top 5 pick, especially to a team who doesn't have a quarterback to begin with. I mean, who's drafting the top 10? Usually teams without a quarterback, minus the Los Angeles, whatever they're called. They have Rivers. So why are you drafting a quarterback that can't even throw the ball to his receivers? And don't say the receivers are horrible, because as a quarterback, you're supposed to make your teammates better.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, I can agree on that, but I also think that teams might look at the player himself, the potential he has. You got to look back, I believe it was the 2011 draft, when they thought that Jake Locker, there was rumors, I believe, in 2011 that he was going to go 1st overall. So we come back from break, we're going to touch on who the Jacksonville Jaguars are projected to take at number 4.